All right, so we're going to solve a couple equations. All right, so these are still quadratic equations, but the way that they're structured set them apart. Okay, I'm actually going to solve this one two different ways. So I'm going to show you the easy way, the way that I would recommend solving it first. All right, because you have all of this stuff squared. All right, this is like written in completing the square form. Uh, because you have all this stuff squared, we can just use inverse operations to solve it. I'm going to move the 9 over to the right side, so add 9 to both sides. X plus 4 squared is equal to positive 9. I guess I'll show my work. Add 9, add 9. And then we would take the square root of both sides. So square root, square root. This is, we've done this before. X plus 4 is equal to, this will be plus minus 3. And then you would minus 4 from both sides. Subtract 4. So x will equal negative 4 plus or minus 3. These are our two answers. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. And negative 4 minus 3, that's equal to negative 7. This is definitely the better way of solving an equation like this. All right. I'm also going to give you another way that you can solve this. Now, this other way is actually going to be the way that you have to do most of your homework, actually. So instead of using inverse operations, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to multiply this all out. I'm going to simplify it, I guess. That'll be x plus 4 times itself minus 9. So after I multiply this thing completely out and combine like terms, then I'm going to solve it by factoring. So, x times x is x squared. Then we're going to have a 4x. And then we're going to have another 4x. And then 4 times 4 will be 16. Minus 9. All right, simplify all this stuff. That'll be 8x. So we get x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus 9. That is 7. All right, so we simplified it, but now this one can be solved by factoring. All right, so I'm going to take this expression, and because it's equal to 0, what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to write it in factored form. So, this has got to be an x and an x. I need two numbers that multiply to 7 and add up to 8. 7 and 1. Same signs, and they're both positive. There we go. Now that it's factored, we can easily tell what our answers are going to be. X is equal to negative 7, bam, and x is equal to negative 1. Like both of these methods, they each have their advantages and disadvantages. This one is a very nice method to use, but the only reason we can do it is because we were doing something multiplied by itself. All right, we had that quantity raised to the second power. This one over here, the fact that I could actually work all this out and factor this part right here, the only reason that happened, that I was able to actually factor this, was because, well, it's almost by coincidence, but it actually was because this 9 was a perfect square. Because my answers to this equation were actually nice answers, that was the only reason I could factor this. Let me do another one here. All right. I got 2x plus 1 multiplied by x minus 3 plus 6. Okay. So we cannot do that trick like I did on this the first example, where we just move the 6 over and take the square root of both sides, because this one's not set up like that. I mean, you don't have some quantity to the second power. That's the reason we can't do that. So I actually have to multiply this whole thing out first. That's my only option. All right, 2x and x will be 2x squared. 2x and a negative 3 will be negative 6x. This will be a 1x. And then 1 and negative 3, that'll be negative 3. Of course, we still have that plus 6 there. All right, combine our terms. What am I doing? I am falling asleep at the wheel here. This is 2x squared. That's my only x squared term. Negative 6x plus 1x. That's negative 5x. These two right here will make a positive 3. All right. So we're going to try to factor this. This one can be solved by factoring, but I just want to emphasize not all stuff will factor. We'll talk about, we'll review that, I guess, later, when stuff can and cannot be factored, and there's a reason for it. This one will factor. All right, it's got to be a 2x and an x. And these two numbers have to multiply to give me 3. But in the long run, at the end, I need to be able to get a 5 in the middle. So it's either a 1 and a 3, or that a 3 and then a 1. Let me try this one out here. Ooh, this one's kind of tricky, actually. 2x and 3, that would be a 6x. And then this would be a 1x. So a 6x and a 1x. I know we could get a 5x, but that would be if we were subtracting these things. Because this is a plus sign, they're actually going to be the same signs. So I need to try it the other way around, actually. It's going to be a 3 here and a 1 here. So this way I get a 2x and a 2x and a 1. So that would be 2x. And then here I get a 3x. But because we're combining these by addition instead of subtracting them, that's how I'm going to get my 5 in the middle. So it's going to be 2x minus 3 and x minus 1. Same signs, and they're both negative. All right, my answers for this, of course, this one's just going to be x equals positive 1. And for this one, if you need to, you could do 2x minus 3 equals 0 and then solve this little equation. But it's going to be x equals 3 over 2. All right. That's good for that one, I think.